Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. And in this update, we are going to check out ICP's price chart later in the video. But at first, we are going to keep talking about Utopia. And specifically in this update, we are going to talk about its key features. And I believe the first thing that stands out about Utopia is the idea of tamper-proof private clouds. Basically, they are creating isolated serverless environments where no attacker can change your code, maybe steal your data, or even drop malware in your system. Think of it like running your app inside a cryptographic vault. No traditional server and no OS level vulnerabilities to exploit. In this scenario, apps live in canisters and they run in a sealed system. Hackers cannot simply SSH into anything. No, there is literally no shell, and that, my friends, is basically the next level for governments or possibly even companies dealing with sensitive workloads like, for example, financial systems, defense infrastructure, and AI models, anything you really do not want to get tampered with. Now, another key feature of Utopia is data sovereignty, and I know the term is absolutely boring, but in my view, it is actually kind of a big deal. In simple terms, this means keep my data in my country, and that is especially important for governments or companies with compliance requirements. You see, Utopia gives them exactly that, and basically you are able to run these private clouds on local hardware, like inside a data center, for example in Berlin, or maybe even a bunker in Tokyo. No AWS dependency, no external exposure. And because this is all built in the same crypto layer that powers ICP, AI models can actually run inside these clouds without really being exposed. And the result, well, your AI runs securely, your training data doesn't really leave your border, and nobody in this scenario is able to spy on you. That is a big contrast to relying on public clouds owned by US tech giants. Now, another very important angle when it comes to Utopia, I believe, can be serverless simplicity. There is no DevOps here, no need to patch Linux machines, no canister orchestration to manage, just deploy your app as a canister and basically you are done. This is exactly where it starts to feel sort of kind of like a real developer-centric product, the kind of tool where teams can move fast, build secure apps, and not really worry about the stack underneath. And thanks to native support for crypto, NFTs, wallets, and other ICP primitives, Web3 features are already baked in the system. You don't really need to duct tape EVM or bolt on something extra. It is all basically native. Now, there is one very important part that I find truly practical, and it's the fact that Utopia isn't necessarily saying throw away every single thing that you have. No, it's actually designed to integrate with existing IT infrastructure. You can spin up a Utopia cloud on top of your current cloud provider, whether that is, for example, AWS or maybe something local, or even possibly dedicated hardware. So with this ability, companies can mix and match, keep some things on, for example, AWS, some other things maybe on Utopia, and still make them talk to each other perfectly. That, in my books, is a huge reason for why we are absolutely destined for some beautiful amount of adoption. It's not a IRP and replace situation. No, it's actually a plug and extend situation, which will again lead to more and more adoption easily. And finally, here is something kind of rare: open source by default. You see, every single thing that Utopia builds has to be contributed back to the ICP ecosystem. Dominic Williams made it very much clear. No backdoors, no secret extensions, no closed forks. If Utopia improves consensus speed or invents a better protocol, everybody will benefit from it. This means we are not looking at a closed platform with a limited scope. No, Utopia might start as an enterprise product, but over time, I do believe its advances will bleed into public ICP infrastructure too. Now let's talk about a very important aspect of ICP and Utopia, which is tokenomics, the team, and where this project is at the moment heading. Right now, there are a lot of noises out there, so let's just break it down. And at first, we have to talk about tokenomics, and here is the surprising part. There are no new token for Utopia, no ICO, no token sale. Absolutely nothing. Utopia is fully powered by the ICP token, the same token that drives the internet computer ecosystem. When organizations want to connect their private Utopia clouds to public internet computer, they are most likely going to need to burn a lot of ICP tokens through the network nervous system, aka NNS. And at the moment, sure, there are actually some confusions floating on the internet about so-called ICU token, the Internet Computer Utopia, but that is absolutely not a true project. No, you need to just ignore that. This is absolutely not real. There is no trading volume, and there is zero, and I really mean it, zero mention of it in any official docs. So in short, Utopia's tokenomics are built entirely around the ICP token. It is a utility first approach, no hype coin, no short-term pump, just a very focused use of ICP for network access and governance. And that, my friends, is quite refreshing in the crypto market. Now, at the core, we got Dominic Williams, founder and chief scientist at Definity Foundation. He is the lead architect behind Utopia and the one pushing new direction. Also, Definity is still in the core team behind the internet computer, and they are actually treating Utopia as a new standalone initiative. But here is where it gets kind of sort of interesting. You see, Definity is planning to spin up a separate for-profit entity to build out Utopia. In community discussions, it has been called Utopia Cloud Labs, and this is basically the startup version of what is currently a non-profit foundation. If you check the news, you realize that, for example, some people, including Definity's head of global adoption, have also spoken about Utopia publicly, which suggests internal alignment on this strategy. But outside of Dominic and a few key voices, you don't really have a full public team list for Utopia Cloud Labs, at least yet. And finally, let's talk roadmap. You see, right now, as of mid-2025, Utopia is still in development. The initial announcement dropped, I think it was back in June of 2024, with a press release, a sign-up page, and also a basic intro deck. Since then, the progress has been steady, but not flashy. A forum update in July of 2024 did confirm that Utopia was in earlier stages, and the team behind Utopia has been very much quiet overall, although they have said more updates are coming. But again, we don't really have any decent information about when Utopia is going to launch and what is it overall going to look like. At the moment, it seems like that Definity's team are working on it, but how close are we to an actual launch? We really cannot say anything for sure. So where does that leave us? You see, we have got a powerful technical architecture built on top of ICP, no new token to dilute focus, a serious team with enterprise experience, and signs that something is brewing, even if the public rollout is still ahead of us. And here is the bullish part. With every single thing lining up, the fundamentals, the infrastructure, the use of ICP in a real enterprise setting, and also what is going on in terms of technical analysis, and especially in my field of works, Elliott waves, we can absolutely expect a major price surge in the next coming alt season if the vision is going to materialize. And I do actually believe that ICP is going to be indeed a huge winner in this cycle, because again, how can we identify whether a project is primed for a beautiful bull run? First, you look at fundamentals, and if you saw something that you liked, then you look at technicals and what is going on in the mid to long term. And again, in ICP, I think we are taking all the right boxes. That is why I am so optimistic for the future. Now, let's go on the live chart and see what is happening in the short term, because I think the last time that we talked about internet computer, we were right in here. And the idea was that if we want to be bullish, then okay, we want to have yet another move on the upside, which is going to be into wave 5 of this whole 5-wave up, starting from this low down here about, let's say, $4.6, and we did get our move up. Now, at the moment, we can have two different counts. Scenario number one suggests that maybe we are having like a very strong extension into this wave 5, and this can be, for example, a 1 correction for 2, decent move up into wave 3, correction for 4, and we're gonna have soon yet another move on the upside into wave 5. And if this is happening, then okay, I think in the next 24 hours you may see another 10 to even potentially and hopefully 20% move up in internet computer. Can we have other possibilities? The answer is absolutely yes. And you can argue maybe the end of our wave 5 was right in here, since we are absolutely able to find a 5-wave up in this phase, and on a higher degree, this white 5 up right in here might be into a larger degree wave 3, followed by correction for 4. I'm gonna say probably a WXY in form of a double zigzag, and yet another move up into wave 5. Now, why is this so important? Okay, let me ask you this. What happens after a 5-wave up, even if we are looking bullish and optimistic and the final low is truly already in? You know the answer. We are going to have a move on the downside, or at least a period of consolidation. So in internet computer, even if we get a move down, it's not really going to matter at all. What really matters is the shape of our move. Okay, if we get a slow and choppy move on the downside, and between our pullbacks we are constantly able to identify overlapping of the waves, you know what, that is actually going to be a beautiful bullish sign, indicating in ICP we are bullish and the final low is already in. What you do not want to see is from here a very strong move without a lot of overlapping of the waves, in order to take these lows down here about, let's say, $4.6, $4.7. That is actually going to be a very bad sign for ICP, indicating in the short term at least our downtrend may not be necessarily over. But as long as we are not seeing that, I do think that we are able to be bullish. And if, for example, in the next 24 hours, we see yet another move up, generally, I'm going to say before taking this important high, you know what, that's actually going to confirm the extension possibility. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in ICP. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time with your family and loved ones. Goodbye.